Tax cut in effect. Tonight, government has slashed VAT on uncooked food by 50%, but did it make a difference at the checkout? We hit the stores to find out if shoppers are really feeling the savings. Plus, how one major grocer nailed the VAT cut rollout. We hit the aisles, scanned the price tags, and put the system to the test. Also, the U.S. State Department urging travelers to exercise increased caution, citing crime, water safety risks, and concerns about jet ski operators. Grand Bahama and New Providence flagged as crime hotspots in an updated travel advisory. Then in our news at 7:30, the VAT cut comes back into focus. Consumer affairs officials hit the ground today, making sure businesses are passing the 5% VAT cut on to shoppers. But did all stores comply? What you should watch out for at the checkout. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. Shoppers who hit stores across New Providence today were the first to see the 50% slash in value-added tax on uncooked food items. But did they feel it in their pockets, and did the cut actually translate into savings? Our Joshua Williams, he gets us started tonight. He visited 2 popular grocery stores today where he posed those questions to residents.
Hell yeah. My VAT was only $4 something. My bill was $70 something. Yep, I appreciate that.
Grocery store shoppers out from early morning, many of them excited for the 5% value-added tax slash on uncooked food items. Prime Minister Philip Davis announced the decrease in January, saying the reduction will apply to a wide range of items available in food stores, including fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, and frozen foods. But did shoppers notice a difference on their bills today? My first stop was CostRite, where this shopper tells me she noticed a slight difference, adding it will take some time to get used to.
This might be come up to $300 and something. So if it cut for that alone, I think it should be less. But however, it just came out today. So I give them a little leeway.
For this woman, the VAT decrease was welcome, but she says consumers need to still be wise about how they spend their money.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's excellent. I like it. If the government do good, we can always achieve what they have to offer. So then they have to work with us.
Next, I went to Super Value Golden Gates, where this resident told me the slash also benefits retirees like her.
Times hard. Salary ain't going up much, but people like me who's pensioners, it's good too. Yeah, I like it.
For Chevelle Smith, the savings, although small, goes a long way.
So you spend $100, they add another $10 to that, $10 and change. So that really is eat up your money. So I appreciate the 5% job now. Some people still grumpy, but no, I'm grateful.
And while that 5% only applies to unprepared food items, I asked residents what they would like to see VAT removed from also.
Man, everything, man. Everything. Move VAT off everything, man. Everything need a change, you see, so you can live better, man. That's where we can get more things done.
Vitamins, washing product, and cooking oil.
Taxes for land and all of that, that is important. If they cut the VAT and taxes, it's good for us because we can maneuver better with our kids and our life of living.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Josh. Well, the rollout of the value-added tax cut on uncooked food items went off without a hitch for one of the major grocery store chains that was able to switch over its point-of-sale system and all of its price tags by the end of the day, ensuring 5% cut is in fact reflected. Berthany McDermott, he visited a store today and picked up a few items.
After weeks of preparations, the transition from 10% VAT on unprepared food to 5% VAT was a success for AML Food stores. That's according to AML Food's Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Renee Bastian. Prime Minister Philip Davis announced the tax cut on certain food items earlier this year. Some of the items include fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, and frozen foods. But as Bastian explains, the preparation wasn't a simple process.
It was a significant task, I would say we did have sufficient time to prepare. Given the government's lead time, we were able to put a team together and map out a comprehensive plan to ensure we were compliant on day one. I just think that this is such a great thing for Bahamian consumers, and I just want to congratulate and thank the government for their effort in bringing this much-needed relief. But, we put in the work, and, we're happy that on day one we were able to extend the reduced VAT to our customers.
On Monday, SuperValue President and Chief Financial Officer Deborah Simonet said while the point-of-sale system was turned over by today, shelf tags would not reflect the VAT cut just yet. But as Bastian explains, AML Foods is sharing a different story.
So currently, all registers are reflecting the 5% VAT reduction at checkout, but we did experience a slight delay with some prices on our electronic shelf tags due to internet connectivity issues. But this has been addressed, and the reduced prices are now starting to reflect on the shelf labels. So we anticipate that this exercise will be complete by the end of day today.
So we did a little shopping today to find out the price change in everyday items like the ones behind me. Here's what we found out. At Solomon's and Cartwright Old Trail Road, the difference in pricing was evident. On March 31st, these Golden Crown eggs would run you into $4.16. Today, you would pay $3.97. A can of Seabass tuna on March 31st would have cost you $1.07. Today, it adds up to $1.02. For the fruit lovers like myself, these blueberries priced at $5.99 went from $6.58 to $6.28. And lastly, this gallon bottle of Bahama Blue alkaline water priced at $2.59 went from $2.89 to $2.71. 4 cans of Seabass tuna, 1 carton of eggs, 1 tin of blueberries, and a gallon of blue water cost me $17.10. Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Berthany. And with the VAT cut, officials hit the streets to ensure businesses are playing fair. But are they? We'll tell you what you should be watching out for, and we speak with shoppers on Grand Bahama coming up in our news at 7:30. The United States State Department updating its travel advisory for the Bahamas, cautioning its residents to exercise increased caution when in the Bahamas. The updated Level 2 advisory that was posted to its website said the update reflects crime, swimming-related risks, and information on traveling with firearms and ammunition. It summarizes that violent crimes like armed robberies, burglaries, and sexual assaults can occur anywhere in the Bahamas, noting that most crimes happen in Grand Bahama and New Providence. The State Department advises residents to stay alert in vacation rental homes, especially where private security is not present. But that's not all. It also highlights that boating is not well regulated, adding that sex assaults by jet ski operators have also been reported. And a man is behind bars awaiting sentencing after a jury convicted him of robbing a former MP and his wife outside their home. Jurors unanimously found Brenville Hanna responsible for the August 13, 2021 holdup of Ruben and Natasha Ramming. They were accosted by 2 gunmen after they arrived at their home in Yamacraw after attending a meeting for the Pinewood constituency. Police say the robbers forced Rammings on the ground and robbed them of $485 cash, a Coach bag, 2 cell phones, and a watch. Police recovered Ms. Ramming's handbag in the garbage in front of Hannah's apartment on Hannah Road after her husband tracked their devices to the location. Well, months after a standoff between Bahamas Air executives and the Airport, Airline, and Allied Workers Union, Bahamas Air Managing Director Tracy Cooper says they're looking to find the middle ground while admitting that things can sometimes go off track. Back in December, Bahamas Air was forced to secure a Supreme Court injunction ordering employees who took part in what they called an illegal sick-out back to work. The action was over a disagreement about money the union claims was owed to Bahamas Air employees. The action caused mass flight cancellations and delays, leaving many passengers stranded in some cases for hours during the busy holiday period. We spoke to Cooper Tuesday morning.
The whole thing about labor and unions, Bahamas Air, and any company and the unions, is that there's always a fight. The unions and the company both are trying to do the best for the employees. And so what we try to do is just to find that harmonization, trying to find that point where we can all agree. And sometimes that takes us down the road and come and bring us back. But as far as working with the unions, Bahamas Air, it's always done its best to try and see how we could all be one family.
And Bahamas Air claims millions of dollars were lost due to this action. When asked if the issue has been resolved, Cooper said this.
The whole thing as to what the union's executives may think is an issue. May not be the same thought process as Bahamas Air's management. Hence the reason why there's a difference. But there are mechanisms for sorting that out. It isn't the fact that we need to just go kind of off the cliff a little bit. We have the Department of Labor and all of its mechanisms of which these matters can be fleshed out. At no point did Bahamas Air and its management said that we would not go and use the Department of Labor.
All right, the Bahamas National Trust is expressing concern over the increasing frequency and intensity of bushfires across the country. Over the weekend, wildfires spread through New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Berry Islands, leaving trails of ash and debris, and in some cases, even destroyed homes. It's a phenomenon that caught the attention of BNT officials, but while those dangerous if not controlled, Senior Communications Officer Elijah Sand says wildfires are a natural part of the Bahamian pine forest ecosystem. He explained that human activity and climate change are making them even more severe and difficult to control.
Pine forests don't have frequent fires, then the understory will grow up and overtake the pine forest. And so it's a natural occurrence to have these fires in these pine forests. However, there are a lot of factors that could affect the intensity of these fires and the frequency as well. And so, of course, we always talk about how littering and stuff like that can, make these fires worse. So people, throw in different kinds of items, especially glass, paper, things that are highly combustible. If they're in the pine forest and a pine forest is a fire that starts and there's more debris in the pine forest, then the pine forest will naturally burn hotter, would burn longer, and then that's when, it could really be a problem for us on these islands.
And to mitigate the frequent fires, Sands emphasized the need for improved fire management strategies, including controlled burns. He also called for greater investment in firefighting resources and infrastructure across the islands.
These islands that has these extensive pine systems, there's not a lot of infrastructure and capacity to fight forest fires. And so that's when we see it becoming a major problem for our communities. And so, we're hoping that, these forests, it's a wake-up call essentially as well, that, we obviously need to have more capacity for fighting fires on the islands. And so we're commending the community members and the government and those who are responding right now to these forest fires. And, as we continue to see this happening, we need to think about also climate change and what role climate change will play in the frequency and intensity of forest fires as our Earth gets warmer.
All right, speaking of fires and the heat, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, I felt the heat today.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw the feels like was up last night, but I got out today and I feel like I saw my car thermostat registered 94 degrees.
Yes.
Did we get up that high?
No. Probably, most likely not, but
okay. Well, maybe maybe it was registering the feels like in my car at the time.
Feels like
because it was hot.
We are moving into some of those warm temperatures over the next couple of days, so we're advising you to stay hydrated. And of course, that story you just had there was a rather interesting one, the forest fires. So we're going to make sure we take the necessary precautions to prevent those, even though it's part of our ecosystem. 80 degrees is our current temperature on the outside. Few clouds, east winds at 15 miles per hour, and it still feels like it's close to 80 degrees on the outside. 79 is what it actually feels like outdoors right now. Right now it's 79 in Freeport, 78 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, 79 in Allenstown, Bimini. Then we pick up a string of 80s, Nicholstown, Andros, Great Harbor Key here in the capital, as well as over in Governor's Harbor. Central Bahamas, 80s in Kemps Bay, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Deadman's Key, Georgetown, 81, 79 in Coburn Town, San Salvador, and into the southeast Bahamas. More 80s popping up in Duncantown, Ragged Island, Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay. 81s in Abraham's Bay, Matthewtown, Inagua, and our good neighbors to the southeast, the Turks and the Caicos Islands. Satellite radar composite, it is quiet across us. Rigidified pressure extending out of the Atlantic across the area. That's going to be dominating our weather. That disturbance had moved across the northern islands, well to the east of us, but we still have some moisture at the low levels, and we have that heating, bringing in some pop-up thunderstorms. Andros got a couple of those, Grand Bahama got a few, as well as the Abacos. We will likely see this for the next couple of days, but the heat is going to be the main story as that high pressure remains in charge. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, the star climb continues for Javaez Colby in prep basketball. More Bahamians enter the transfer portal. The Tabernacle Falcons are the best of the best, and we explore the Bahamian connection for the Dallas Mavs.
Sasha Lightborn here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow all of the R News social media pages to make sure that you don't miss those top stories from the team you already trust.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but two NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
My name is Atreyu Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. One of the fastest rising recruits on the prep basketball scene, Javaez Colby's star climb continues after a promising year one at Veritas Academy. Colby was recently recognized as one of the standouts for the class of 2029 at the Nike Junior EYBL Super Session earlier this month in Memphis, Tennessee. He helped lead Paul George Elite to a 3-1 record. Standing 6'9" at just 15 years old, scouts are raving at the potential of the versatile frontcourt player because of his mobility, handle for his size, and most importantly, post presence on both ends of the floor. Colby joined the Raw Talent Elite organization to further his basketball development after beginning his athletic career as a baseball player.
The local high school basketball season concluded with the second edition of the Senior Boys Best of the Best tournament. The Tabernacle Baptist Falcons added another signature win to the accolade-filled 2024-25 season by claiming the tournament title last night with a 64-54 overtime win over the Sunland Baptist Stingers at the St. George's Gymnasium.
As the NCAA basketball season concludes, more Bahamian hoopers continue to seek opportunities with new programs through the NCAA transfer portal. Ole Miss sophomore forward Rima Collins recently announced her intentions to enter the portal via social media. North Alabama Lions sophomore Vernon Charlton is also in the transfer portal.
Klay Thompson and Kai Jones have teamed up for the Dallas Mavericks, and the veteran sharpshooter had nothing but praise for the young forward making the most out of his opportunity. Jones finished with 7 points and 5 rebounds in 17 minutes off the bench in the Mavs' 113-109 loss to the Brooklyn Nets last night at the American Airline Center in Dallas. Since being acquired by the Mavs in early March, Jones has set several new career highs, averaging 12.1 points and 7.5 rebounds in 24 minutes per game.
That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Trump's Liberation Day approaches. We'll tell you the sweeping 20% tariffs coming April 2nd. Plus, find out Russia's biggest draft in a decade. 160,000 called to serve. And more chaos in Haiti as armed gangs free 500 inmates in a violent prison break. The story when our news returns.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
My name is Trey Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. The White House set to unveil a sweeping new tariff plan on April 2nd with 20% duties on most imports, according to reports. Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt said the move signals that the days of America being ripped off are over. President Donald Trump has dubbed April 2nd Liberation Day, vowing reciprocal tariffs on any country that imposes duties on U.S. goods. A 25% tariff on auto imports is also expected April 3rd. Trump will announce the plan at 4 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday in the Rose Garden, though the White House says final details are still being decided.
But those days of America, beginning tomorrow, being ripped off are over. American workers and businesses will be put first under President Trump, just as he promised on the campaign trail. The president's historic action tomorrow will improve American competitiveness in every area of industry, reduce our massive trade deficits, and ultimately protect our economic and national security. President Trump's economic vision is rooted in common sense. America will offer companies the lowest taxes, energy costs, regulations, if they make their products right here in the United States and hire American workers for the job. It's simple. If you make your product in America, you will pay no tariffs.
U.S. federal prosecutors will seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a premeditated, cold-blooded assassination. Investigators say Mangione was angry at U.S. healthcare companies when he shot Thompson outside a New York hotel on December 4th. After a nationwide manhunt, police arrested Mangione days later in Pennsylvania. He faces state murder charges in New York and separate federal charges which make him eligible for execution. His lawyer calls the decision barbaric, accusing the government of defending a broken healthcare system. Mangione is awaiting trial in a New York prison. Russia has launched its biggest military draft in over a decade, calling up 160,000 men aged 18 to 30 for a year of service. This comes as President Vladimir Putin moves to expand the military to 2.39 million troops with 1.5 million active personnel over the next 3 years. Officials insist the new conscripts won't be sent to Ukraine, but reports suggest some have already been killed near the border. The draft follows heavy Russian losses with over 100,000 soldiers confirmed dead and efforts to recruit contract soldiers and even troops from North Korea. And armed gangs stormed a central Haitian town on Monday, freeing 500 inmates from prison in a violent attack. Gunmen from the 400 Muozo and Taliban gangs opened fire, torched buildings, and attacked a police station, forcing residents to flee. Authorities say they've regained control, but many escaped prisoners are still on the loose. The gangs that are reportedly part of the Vive Ensemble coalition appear to be expanding beyond Port-au-Prince, where they already dominate. The attack comes days after a Kenyan peacemaker was killed amid ongoing efforts by the multinational security support mission to curb Haiti's spiraling gang violence. Over 5,600 people were killed in Haiti last year due to gang-related attacks, according to the United Nations. Still to come in our news today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was April 1st. Then in our news at 7:30, we stop shoppers outside a local food store in Grand Bahama to ask if they're feeling the savings from today's VAT reduction. Are prices really lower, or is the impact barely noticeable? And Bahamas Air getting a shiny new ATR 72. But will one plane be enough to fix the airline's ongoing struggles? The airline's managing director weighs in on what this upgrade really means for passengers when our news returns.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services. So
On this day in Bahamian history in 1895, Cuban revolutionary Jose Marti arrived in Great Anagua, where he met fellow Cubans supporting the fight for independence from Spain. During his 2-week stay, he befriended Captain Heinrich Loh of the steamship Nordstrom and bribed him to transport him and his comrades back to Cuba on April 10th. Marti was killed 2 months later in the Battle of Dos Rios on May 19, 1895. In 1957, Oswald Arthur Raynor was appointed governor of the Bahama Islands. Fast forward to 2007, the Nassau Airport Development Company took over commercial operations at Lynden Pindling International Airport in Nassau. April 1st, 2019, at Grand Bahama Shipyard, a crane collapsed onto the Royal Caribbean cruise ship Oasis of the Seas, injuring 8 people. And in 2020, reported its first COVID-19 death, with confirmed cases rising to 21 at the time. All right, to watch that historical recap again. And for all of today's top stories, you can visit rnews.bs and, of course, R News Bahamas on Facebook. You can share your favorite stories right from the R News Bahamas Facebook page. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is our Talia Hall. She's got the latest headlines. Talia?
Ken, well, coming up, Bahamas Air getting a shiny new ATR 72. But will one plane be enough to fix the airline's ongoing struggles? Plus, students attend an addiction prevention symposium. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on our News Live at 7:30.
With the recent VAT reduction on unprepared food items from 10% to 5%, not every store inspection went smoothly. I'm Devaro Emmanuel, and coming up tonight in our news, find out what inspectors discovered and how the Consumer Affairs Unit is protecting you at the cash register.
Plus, we visit a Grand Bahama food store to hear from residents on how the tax cut is impacting their grocery bills. Also, Bahamas Air is days away from adding a brand new 70-seater ATR aircraft to its fleet. Managing Director Tracy Cooper says the new addition will boost the airline's operations. And Caribbean nations, including the Bahamas, told about the need to reduce China's influence in the region. During our monthly sit-down interview with an RF Bank and Trust executive, he offers his views on the topic. And later, as wildfires continue to flare up across the country, a local environmentalist shares his perspective when our News Live at 7:30 returns.
There tomorrow. Will we still have beaches to walk on? Will the air still be fresh? Will we have done enough to protect you? There tomorrow. Will you be a place where children still hear birds sing? Where forests still stand tall? Or will we leave you with skies too choked to breathe and oceans too broken to heal? There tomorrow. Will there even be a tomorrow if we're too late? Tomorrow is never promised, but while we have today, we can choose to protect you. One small step at a time. Let's act now.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Struckham, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckham, #1 in pest control services.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
Get ready to shop till you drop. The Vitamalt shopping spree is back.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Italia Hall. With the recent reduction of VAT from 10% to 5% on uncooked foods starting today, officials from the Consumer Affairs Unit were out in full force to ensure businesses were complying with the tax cut. So what did they find, and what should consumers look out for? Our Delvado Emmanuel reports.
Officials from the Consumer Affairs Unit were making their rounds today at major retailers like Cosrite, Solomon's, Phoenix Supermarket, Super Value, and other stores throughout the capital, ensuring that prices reflect the newly reduced VAT rate. Back in January, the Davis administration introduced a 5% VAT decrease on non-prepared food items. But during the first of inspections, head of the Department of Consumer Affairs Rex Adderley says they've already noticed some issues.
When we came in, we noticed one or two tags that were out of
they were still reflecting the 10% VAT. And we had to point it out to them now. He's making the changes right now for us.
An issue Phoenix Supermarket CEO Valentino Gardner defended.
System-wise, you can change as much as possible, but for the pricing on the shelf, it's going to take a while because all of those items you have to, scrape off the price and put on new pricing, or you have to put tags in certain areas. It's a little bit tedious, but we understand what the government is trying to do.
Our News also visited stores like Budget Meat on Fayette Avenue, Super Value, and John Shea No. 1, all of which have complied with the new policy.
So as you can see, the receipt says, and for the non-food, which is still at the 10%, and the airfish for food, which is at the 5%. So it's clear if the customers look at their receipt, they'll see exactly how they're being charged.
The April 1st implementation was selected to allow merchants enough time to update their pricing system. Adderley says there's a 72-page document which can be found on the Office of the Prime Minister website that lists all the food items that qualify for the VAT cut. He also says officials are giving stores a grace period to have their affairs in order to avoid penalties. In the meantime,
make that change at the point of sales for the time being, and as they go along, they can change those prices.
Now officials say these inspections will continue in the coming weeks to ensure full compliance. In the meantime, consumers are being asked to stay vigilant and report any discrepancies. Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
All right, thanks for that detailed report, Delvardo. Well, over in Grand Bahama, we visited a local food store to hear from residents on how the VAT decrease is impacting their shopping experience.
Value-added tax, 386. Yeah, okay. And so I guess when I shop more, we'll see how it pans out.
The government selected the April 1st implementation date to allow merchants enough time to update their pricing systems. However, the question remains, are consumers actually seeing the difference at the checkout line? Our news team visited a local grocery store in Grand Bahama Tuesday morning where some shoppers were checking prices to ensure that businesses were complying with the new VAT reduction. And while the tax cut is meant to provide relief, not everyone is convinced it's making a difference. Grand Bahama resident Moran Russell says she saw little to no change in her bill and believes the government needs to do more.
It's still expensive to buy groceries in this country. Until the government takes all the taxes off of not breadbasket items, the things that we're supposed to eat, vegetables, lean protein, and fruit, forget rice, forget sugar, forget tea, okay? We need to have a real look at what the food table is in this country and how the government is going to assist Bahamians in eating better because it washes out in the medical bills.
But for others, the 5% decrease is a welcome initiative.
I think anything helps at the moment because it's, things are difficult, so and prices are going up. So anything helps, I would think. 5%'s a lot of money, right? So whether you recognise that in your bigger shops, I don't know, but I'm sure it helps if it's on the right products.
5% may not seem like a lot, but for those persons who are struggling, it could mean a great deal of difference in their grocery bill, and it's always appreciated when you can see some reduction in the cost of food because food prices are continually going up.
For some shoppers like Katie Taylor, the change has not been noticeable.
In this day and age, I just shop what I can afford to buy.
All right, well, Bahamas Air is set to receive a new 70-seater ATR 72 aircraft in just a few days. And according to Managing Director Tracy Cooper, the airplane will improve the airline's operations. It comes as Cooper admits the airline has been struggling to keep up with the demands. He also provided this update.
It's going to be to enhance the product that we provide in and around the islands. And we're really happy to tell you that that airplane is actually in the sky. It left France this morning. It's on its way to Cape Verde Islands. In another 3 days or so, it will actually be here in the Bahamas.
Airline has been plagued with delays, creating an issue for some travelers. The new aircraft comes as 2 ATRs remain inoperable due to engine issues. Cooper shares when those will return to the rotation.
Bahamas Air still has 2 of those airplanes that are still awaiting engines because of the manufacturer and the supply chain. The manufacturer is doing a little better job with that. We're hoping that by the summer traffic, summer flying, that we could have that airplane in the sky.
While reports suggest that the United States has warned Caribbean nations to align with America over China. Most recently at the Grand Bahama Business Outlook, U.S. Chargé d'Affaires Kimberly Furnish reiterated this message. This as she spoke about the need to reduce China's influence in the region to ensure mutual growth, stating that while China makes many promises, it often fails to deliver. She emphasized that making America great also involves helping neighboring countries like the Bahamas achieve economic success. With China already having invested billions in the Bahamas, the question remains, how will this affect the relationship between the U.S. and the Bahamas? During our recent sit-down interview with David Slatter, Group Head of Investment at RF Bank and Trust, he shared his perspective on the situation and why he believes the Bahamas should steer clear.
Geopolitics is on our shores too, right? So there has been this struggle between China and the U.S. within the region and the Bahamas. So you saw the Chinese embassy was built on Shirley Street. What was the American reaction? To build a massive embassy on Shirley Street. When other people see the scale of that embassy in the Bahamas, they really wonder, like, why and what's it about? So I think it's about a show of force, a show of strength. And the reality is, countries have to make a decision. They have to appreciate the consequences of actions and policies. And then at the end of the day, once they've weighed the pros and cons of a decision, they have to do what they think is best for their citizens, whether it's the Bahamas, Jamaica, or the like. There's also the tariff on countries that decide to import Venezuelan oil. So there's definitely a big stick being swung by the U.S. right now, and we need to do our best to avoid getting in the way of any blows.
Could dumping glass and other debris be to blame for the recent wildfires? Executive Chairman of Save the Bays and Waterkeepers Bahamas, Joe Darville, explained that natural combustible plants that grow in the forest, along with debris, especially glass bottles, can create a deadly equation that leads to the monster infernos that we've seen burning around the country over the past week. Darville, a resident of Grand Bahama, has seen firsthand the dangers these fires pose to communities. He's calling on the public to be more mindful of how they dispose of their garbage.
Because of the fact that we have many things going on in the forest with respect to dumping of bottles, and by the multitude, by the hundreds, and also by indiscriminate dumping by individuals, and also a construction company, we have all of these items in there.
It's an issue residents have dealt with on islands like Bimini, where wildfires threaten homes, and a local marina over the weekend. In Grand Bahama, a massive blaze threatened homes and businesses throughout, and in Abaco, wildfires along the SC Boodle Highway made breathing difficult for residents there. And for those here in New Providence, near Carmichael Road, a fire last Thursday temporarily blocked residents from getting to their homes as flames danced dangerously close to the roadway. Darville has this suggestion for lawmakers.
There should be wells dug along all of the major roads, so that when fires do at night, and with the shortage of fire trucks, etc., to deal with fires, the many fires that have been out recently, because of the inability to have water close by, we need to have these wells so fire trucks, even if they are a limited number, do not have to travel all the way back to somewhere to find water, but water will be always there near along the major road, thoroughfares in Grand Bahama, and also in Nassau.
All right, well, not so windy weather conditions in the capital on this Tuesday. Wondering how the rest of the work week will shape up? Well, meteorologist Greg Thompson is live in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg, is the wind gone now? Or?
It's gone down, but it's coming back.
It's coming back, wow.
So we got a little bit of a break from the fire, even though we may still have a few fires out there. Of course, as that last story said, those bottles, people throwing bottles out of the cars, please, that's not good. So let's try to avoid that. But yeah, the winds have come down. 80 degrees is our current temperature, still on the warm side, few clouds. East winds, 15 miles per hour, those winds picked up a little there. Feels like temperature is at 79. Satellite radar composite. It is quite across our area, ridge of high pressure sticking out of the Atlantic across our area, dominating our weather at the surface and aloft. We also have a couple of isolated showers and some thunderstorms. Andros got into some of the action, Grand Bahama earlier, Abaco as well. But that high is going to strengthen over the next couple of days. So we will be back to that windy regime for the balance of the week. So it's going to be a little challenging for boating and beach going for the next several days. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come in our news, a 40-year-old Haitian national is behind bars after he was accused of sexually abusing his stepdaughter. Plus, with growing concerns over gambling and substance abuse, young people from various schools gathered for a one-day symposium. We have the full story coming up. And later, the Bahamas is making history with its first ever all-women political debate. Representatives from major political parties will take the stage in an event hosted by the Bahamas chapter of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Get ready to shop till you drop. The Vitamalt shopping spree is back, and you could be the next winner of a $500 shopping spree. Here's how to enter. Buy a 6-pack of ginger, acai, or coconut and hibiscus Vitamalt from any Super Value or 700 Wines and Spirits location. Snap a picture of your receipt and WhatsApp your name and photo of the receipt to 825-2191. This promotion ends Saturday, April 19th. Will you be the next lucky shopper? Vitamalt. Vitalize naturally.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Cetamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
There tomorrow. Will we still have beaches to walk on? Will the air still be fresh? Will we have done enough to protect you? There tomorrow. Will you be a place where children still hear birds sing? Where forests still stand tall? Or will we leave you with skies too choked to breathe?
A 40-year-old Haitian national is behind bars after he was accused of sexually abusing his stepdaughter. His name has been withheld to protect the identity of the 13-year-old girl. The man was not required to enter pleas to charges of unlawful sexual intercourse with a dependent when he stood before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vo Evans. The sexual abuse allegedly began in June of 2024 and continued until February 2025. The accused returns to court on July 16 to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers, which will fast-track the matter directly to the Supreme Court. In response to growing concerns about gambling and substance abuse among young people, students from CV Bethel, Anatole Rogers, GHS, and other schools gathered at a Holy Cross Anglican Church for a one-day addiction awareness symposium. Organized by the Sandilands Gambling Addiction Awareness Program and led by Senior Nursing Officer Paula Dean, the initiative focuses on educating high school students, a group particularly vulnerable to addiction. With the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center at the helm, Dean underscored the importance of early education in preventing addiction before it takes hold.
We're trying to reach the students in the schools, even though we know some of them are already, but if we can reach them and, of course, try to mitigate any harm or further harm, or even for them to get even more involved in the habits, then we feel as though that is the right way to go. Like I say, information is very important, because if you don't know risk factors, there's some people who are more at risk for development of addiction, okay? And of course, we know even that just the fact that they are young, under the age of 24, they stand a greater chance of becoming addicted.
New research from the SRC has highlighted a troubling trend. More students are engaging in gambling activities, from dice games to online betting. Dean, who's a recovering gambling addict herself, warns that gambling addiction is often overlooked because it carries a stigma, causing many to suffer in silence rather than seek help, which can lead to other things.
So many more people affected with addiction, and especially gambling, that is recorded. Way more persons are addicted. But you'll see it being, and even suicide. 17 to 20% of persons who gamble, they are more likely to commit suicide more than the other normal person, okay? Because they keep it all inside. They owe the mob, you understand? They feel depressed, they feel like they didn't worth anything.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, an all-women's political debate hosted by the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, the first of its kind in the Bahamas, is coming up. Organizers say it's a major step in advancing women's voices in leadership.
Coming up in sports, the star climb continues for Javaez Colby in prep basketball. More Bahamians enter the transfer portal. The Tabernacle Falcons are the best of the best, and we explore the Bahamian connection for the Dallas Mavs.
And the strong winds of ease making room for a more pleasant day in the capital. But will this trend continue? Greg is back with your extended weather forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
My name is Atreyu Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add
Welcome to R Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's Sean Martinette. Let's do show. One of the fastest rising recruits on the prep basketball scene, Javaez Colby's star climb continues after a promising year one at Veritas Academy. Colby was recently recognized as one of the standouts for the class of 2029 at the Nike Junior EYBL Super Session earlier this month in Memphis, Tennessee. He helped lead Paul George Elite to a 3-1 record.
My first year, it started off easy, being the youngest. Coach didn't get that much angry at me, but as I started to grow and get better, he started holding me to a certain point. So I had to tighten up, do stuff, I had more responsibility there.
Standing 6'9" at just 15 years old, scouts are raving at the potential of the versatile front court player because of his mobility, handle for his size, and most importantly, post presence on both ends of the floor. Colby joined the Raw Talent Elite organization to further his basketball development after beginning his athletic career as a baseball player.
The local high school basketball season concluded with the second edition of the Senior Boys Best of the Best tournament. The Tabernacle Baptist Falcons added another signature win to the accolade-filled 2024-25 season by claiming the tournament title last night with a 64-54 overtime win over the Sunland Baptist Stingers at the St. George's Gymnasium. Jarius Hall delivered an MVP performance in the title game with a team-high 17 points. Jermaine Woodside was the top scorer for the Stingers with 18 points. Other Falcons to receive honors, Gianna Murray was named the tournament MVP, while Dylan Morris was named the top defensive player.
As the NCAA basketball season concludes, more Bahamian hoopers continue to seek opportunities with new programs through the NCAA transfer portal. Ole Miss sophomore forward Rima Collins recently announced her intentions to enter the portal via social media. As a freshman, the 6'2" forward appeared in just 11 games off the bench and averaged just under 5 minutes per game. In her sophomore season, she appeared in 13 games, averaged 3.1 points and 2.2 boards per game, highlighted by a career-high 12 points against Tennessee State. Collins was the second Bahamian player to play under Coach Yo at Ole Miss, following Valerie Nesbitt in the 2020-21 seasons. North Alabama Lions sophomore Verone Charlton is also in the transfer portal. Other Bahamians possibly on the move this offseason in the portal: Creighton Junior center Frederick King and Fordham Junior forward Roma Dean. At the end of the 2024 season, both players previously entered the portal for the first time, but returned to their respective programs for the 2025 campaign.
Klay Thompson and Kai Jones have teamed up for the Dallas Mavericks, and the veteran sharpshooter had nothing but praise for the young forward making the most out of his opportunity. Jones finished with 7 points and 5 rebounds in 17 minutes off the bench in the Mavs' 113-109 loss to the Brooklyn Nets last night at the American Airline Center in Dallas. Since being acquired by the Mavs in early March, Jones has set several new career highs, averaging 12.1 points and 7.5 rebounds in 24 minutes per game.
Got to be one of the best athletes in the NBA. I mean, 4 steals, 2 blocks, 15 efficient points. What a player, and we're lucky to have him, and he's got a very bright future. I'm so proud of Kai. You know, we got that Bahamian connection, so I just want him to keep staying level-headed and working hard, and he's going to play as long as he wants.
That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Do you have a Julian Believe think piece? Because everyone has one.
Absolutely. As I've always said, there should be more holidays throughout the year.
Thank you for that. Nice change of pace. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, an all-women's debate, including members from leading political parties, go head-to-head in a debate focused on national issues. Plus, not so windy today, but will calmer conditions stick around for the week? Greg is back with your extended weather forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Sasha Lightborn here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow all of the R News social media pages to make sure that you don't miss those top stories from the team you already trust.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
This is our news. Welcome back. We had a nice day around the islands today. We started off with some showers earlier this morning across the capital and most of the northwest Bahamas. Some portions of that saw some showers. Grand Bahama, the Abacos, as well as North Eleuthera saw a couple of isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. Most of those have dissipated. Disturbance moving well to the east of us. A ridge of high pressure is in charge. That's going to continue to dominate our weather. It's going to strengthen over the next couple of days, so we're looking at some breezy to windy conditions for the balance of the week. Beaching and boating is going to become a challenge once again. And of course, temperatures will now approach what we see during the summer. So you're looking for some mid-80s. It's going to get warm. And of course, as that high stays with us, we're hoping that the winds relax some of the temperatures that we will be feeling. Future forecast showing nothing happening across our area. It's going to remain dry through Wednesday, and that will continue through Thursday. Maybe a spotty shower or 2 popping up across the islands, but we don't expect much in terms of any significant weather during the next couple of days. Once again, boating and beaching becoming a challenge. Northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Small craft use caution, mainly along the Atlantic exposures. East to southeast winds, 15 knot seas, 3 to 5 feet, but building up to 7 feet along those Atlantic exposures. High tide is at 11:20 tonight. Low tide takes place at 5:49 in the morning for the central and southeastern islands. Caution flag in place for you guys around there as well. Stiffer winds east to southeast, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 7 feet over the open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, beautiful conditions expected. Warm temperatures expected as well. Notice those temperatures will be approaching the mid-80s, and it's going to be windy. So please, if you don't have to get into the waters, high current risk exists for the next several days, as well as some hazardous boating conditions. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, an all-women's political debate is the first of its kind in the country and will be hosted by the Bahamas chapters of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. The debate is scheduled for Thursday at 6 p.m. at the University of the Bahamas Performing Arts Center. It will feature women from the Free National Movement, the Progressive Liberal Party, and the Coalition of Independents. Planning Committee member Shakira Johnson shares why the sorority continues to be on the front lines regarding women's issues and rights in the Bahamas.
This is where all of the chapters of the sorority in the Bahamas come together to just continue our long-standing commitment to community engagement, advocacy, and public policy. So this is another platform for us to really bring the conversation together, bring more persons in the conversation, including the public, as well as our politicians, so that we can have this engaging dialogue.
Sorority members have also planned to visit with Director of Public Prosecutions Cordell Frazier. Johnson spoke about the meeting with the DPP and encourages men to attend the two-day event as well.
This is because we want to again have the dialogue with the policymakers and the persons who can enable change in our community. Men are invited, and we do know that we have champions in our male population, in our male community, that want to see women changes in matters that affect women. So of course, all of the men in our community are certainly encouraged to come out.
All right, sounds exciting. Of course, to see that story again is available now at ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight on behalf of the entire team. I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.